a remodel process to which I have to sit there and say, why is anyone remodeling a mall right now? I mean, you're putting a lot of money into something that is you're not going to get your return, and you're in the mecca of delivery online. Like, this is such a bad idea. There's only about 6 stores in this mall open. Everything else is getting a facelift. So I walked in and I'm like, am I at the right place? And the security officer is like, where are you trying to go? And I'm like, dim sum. He goes, oh, 4th floor all the way at the top. So I'm taking all these escalators, and all of a sudden I get to the top where there's a Johnny Rockets, a Thai restaurant, a movie theater, and this dim sum restaurant. And it is packed. And I'm like, what in the hell? So I walk up. I'm like, can I just sit at the bar? And they're like, yeah. So these soup dumplings, I think I'm saying it correctly, Xiao Long Bao, are the best thing that has ever made a presence in my mouth.
There it is.
Ever. For one, you make this little ginger sauce. You can make it spicy, which I did. You put it in your mouth, and then it explodes, and it's like the perfect temperature of soup that pops in your mouth. So good that I'm dying at the bar next to by myself. And this guy sits down and he goes, have you been here before? I'm like, no, I can't. No,
you're like,
no, I haven't.
Listen, just don't say anything right now. Just hold still. Just don't talk.
Don't interrupt this moment.
He was like, I just dropped my wife and kids off at the airport. They're going to New York. And I'm like, good for you, dude. Good for you. I am trying to figure out how to clean up this seat and enjoy myself before I have to go to the airport. It was so good. So then he's like, do you recommend anything? I'm like, yes, obviously this that I'm eating. And I had 2 left. And he's like, okay. And he orders, he gets to know the other chick next to him. He orders 5 different things. He's like, I want to try a couple different things. So then he's giving me samples of some of his stuff to try, which was great. But really the soup dumplings, so good that I get on my flight, I get to my office, and I have a meeting with my executive assistant, office manager. Brian knows we're going to need to give her a name at some point. And I said,
we've given her a lot of titles: executive assistant, office manager, go-to for everything.
Listen, after this mission, I should just call her God. So I said, listen, our main objective in 2019 is to get soup dumplings. She goes, what? That doesn't really have a whole lot to do with our office structure. I said, listen, these soup dumplings are the best thing to get in my mouth. I got to figure out a way to get them here. I'm going to have you research it. I'm going to meet with the Asian restaurateur in our area and see if he can make a restaurant pop up, because Brian knows this gentleman and
he can.
He can. So she's like, okay, I've got it. By the end of the day, she did find soup dumplings at Trader Joe's, which I was going to. I searched Kansas City because I was going there. They did have a place. It's not the same. I'm just going to skip to that part. It's not the same. But she's reading the description of all of these people talking about the soup dumplings. It's very sexual. I was like, it is better than sex. Oh, God damn it.
Better than sex dumplings. Raquel.
Raquel.
We're gonna call her Dumpling.
By her Spanish name.
Oh, we'll just call her Dumpling. Yeah. It's better than anything that's been in my mouth. Dumpling. And she goes, I don't think you're doing sex right. I was like, listen, I am, but it is amazing. She's like, if you could have 10 dumplings or 10 orgasms, what would you have? I'm like, I would not have this conversation with an employee, but
starting this stuff wrong already.
I would have 10 dumplings. She goes, really? I said, they're really good. So I got some at Trader Joe's. I got some for her. And she's like, I can see how amazing this was. I was like, it's not really quite it, but she's like, I think we can make them. I was like, you think you can? She's like, yeah, I researched it. It's like gelatin. Like, I was like, that's how I thought they were making the soup. And she's like, I really think we can figure this out. I was like, okay, well, give me a free weekend. We'll figure this out. So we're going to try and execute it. She's super talented in that avenue. And,
curious.
That's have you not had them, Cassie?
I have not. No, I go when I'm in Seattle, I am pretty much going where Terry tells me to go. So
that was one of his places he told me to go.
Yeah. So wherever he tells me to go, I go. It's very rare. There's not a meal that I eat that isn't consulted by him or Sherry. So I'm thinking back, and we've never had. No, we've never had. I definitely have not been in that mall that you referred to. I know for a fact I haven't been there. Usually I stay down at Edgewater, so it's within a half-mile radius of Edgewater, which gives you about 8% of the city because it's on the water.
I am almost to the point where, like, I'm pretty much there, but Vince is, because I almost messed up everything, but Vince has basically said, when are we going to Seattle? I'm like, we're going. And he's already researched flights. He's like,
for sure next June, because I'll be there next June. Religiously, I come to America in June, so June would be good timing, and you have plenty of time to plan.
Yeah, next Father's Day with the father,
or the weekend before Father's Day would be fine too. Like, we can be more strategic about our planning. I actually will. This is news to the show as well, and to you probably, but it's a very good chance Carson and I will be relocating to America next year. Between April and May. Yeah. So there's a chance.
Just to the whole of America, or like
to the pit of it. Just relocating back to Portland. There's very strong chance we'll be relocating back to Portland, Oregon come April, May timeframe. There's a good chance. It's not official yet. I still am waiting on a few things from my leadership team to see if I can stay here in Holland longer, but the roles, the way they're redefining kind of my structure of my job, there may be a use for me back home that they want more than me developing the team here. So I may be back in a closer time zone, which is good news for our show. And it's good news for us because we love Portland, but it's a shift.
It'll be good. No matter what happens.
No, we took time to explore some Portland neighborhoods that Carson hasn't seen yet that I would like to live in. And we did our due diligence to make sure that we're both comfortable with the space that we would choose when we come back. And it'll be really good to be close to family and everything, but it'll sneak up on us, right? Time flies so quickly. So I'll keep you guys updated. Don't worry.
How are the schools in those neighborhoods?
Oh, they're total shit. They're absolutely terrible. They get like a 1 out of 10 pretty consistently. So some money is going to have to go aside for private school, something in that nature. I haven't thought that far.
Holy shit. Cassie, are you literally disclosing that you're like, looking at the family planning situation like in front of Jenny? Jesus.
A lot happened in Seattle.
Oh my God.
I should remember who I'm talking to.
Like she's never gonna stop now.
She was never gonna stop to start with. You should have seen her in Seattle.
She's literally doing a happy dance. Like I'm visually.
She's pretty much pushing us into corners in Seattle. Like, hey, poof, go over here and have unprotected sex. No, we
enough of it.
we've been talking about we can talk about this another time, but it's in our planning for the future. If you're gonna settle down somewhere, we've taken that into consideration that children might be a part of that.
She's so nervous. All right.
I'm very uncomfortable. I'm taking a drink of my gin and tonic now.
And then tell us about your weird obsession.
Mm. Oh, okay. So I'll keep this quick, but I used to go to a fabulous stylist in Portland, Oregon, who has blown up since I've left. She was blowing up while I got there, but she is absolutely infamous in her industry. Her name's Presley Poe, and she's a fucking goddess, like a magician, really. But she would, when I first came to her, she would recommend this shampoo and conditioner, and they make a whole line of products called Oribe. I pronounce it Oribe. I've heard other people pronounce it other ways, but that's how I pronounce it. We can put up a link if you'd like. But I accessed this hair product when I lived in Portland, so I went back to buy it. I got like the biggest bottle they had in the shop and packed in my luggage and drug it over to Holland. And I am so happy I took time to do that. It's incredibly expensive, and you would never buy it just thinking I want some nice hair stuff. But if you want to like repair your hair, which I'm trying to do right now because it's been needing some love and I've been neglecting it, it is magical and it smells so good. And they have a brilliant perfume out that I got too. And once I brought it back, actually a week after being back, so a couple days ago, one of my colleagues was like, your hair is looking like, I took one day to do my hair, which I rarely do. He's like, your hair's looking shiny. Like America must have done some good things for it. I'm like, no. I picked up Oribe, and he's like, I know it. So he's growing his hair out right now. Rayumi is his name, his code name. And he's growing his hair out now. So he's very particular, and he also pays attention to products. And he's like, oh, you can get that about 20 miles north, 40 kilometers-ish north at some head salon there. They sell it over the counter. So I was like, just super excited because I don't have to go to America to get it. So point being, my hair is healthy and happy because I picked up Oribe.
Is this the hairstylist that at dinner Dirk was like, well, why don't you just go to her? And you're like, I'm ashamed to bring my head to her in the condition it's in. My hair's not ready to go back to her.
Pretty much, yeah. Yes, that was her, even though she reached out to me and said, hey, I have an appointment for you if you want it. But it was the morning I was supposed to be in Seattle, so I couldn't go.
Gotcha.
So she's booked back to back nonstop, her and her assistant, and she travels the whole globe. She's like the head stylist and head colorist for Pravana. So she does all their major stuff. Presley Poe, follow her on Instagram. She's a goddess. And you know what? I'll put up
some love.
Yeah, and I'll put up pictures of what she did for my hair. Like you would never guess I was a blonde at one point and a fire red. Like she just does amazing work. And if you're ever in Portland, she's the girl to go to. So, but this is her fault, my Oribe obsession.
Awesome. So some of my weird things in Seattle.
So many though to choose from.
So many, but one great one. So mine's not that great. So I'll start out. I got my first pat down in TSA.
Who is it by? Explain the person.
Yeah, okay. So I walk through, and this frumpy, she's probably about 5'2", probably 170 pounds respectively. Mm-hmm. She could use your hairstylist. So I go in and she goes, I'm going to pat you down. I'm like, okay. She puts her gloves on and she goes, I'm just going to use the back of my hands. I'm going to go up your inner and outer thighs. I'm going to outline your front and your back and go up to your chest, under your armpits. And she's giving me the whole rundown. And then she goes, is this going to hurt you? And I want to be like, I don't know. Is it going to hurt?
You tell me.
But I realized maybe not the best time for jokes when I'm trying to get to Seattle. So
they're not very funny.
Think so. So she does it. And in the middle of it, I'm like, oh yeah, right there. But I so many jokes and I'm like, not appropriate. And then she goes, I don't feel like anything is going to harm anyone. I'm like, you haven't been there yet.
You've underestimated my abilities.
What I can do with some of these moves. Anyway. So I left. She did give me a second glance, but then I went
naturally
and waited.
It'd be shameful for her not to.
It was so much fun. I was just like, man, you're undervalued. I can feel it.
Well, you're fun to touch, Jenny. We must call this out when we did our